I'm going to tell you another true crime story. This one might be my favorite so far. Jeffrey Dahmer was an ordinary guy who lived an ordinary life in an ordinary town. He had a job, he had friends, he had a girlfriend. But behind closed doors, he did the most horrific things imaginable. It all started when Jeffrey was just a kid. He was always fascinated with death. He would spend hours and hours watching the local news, not because he liked the news, but because they would always cover these murder mysteries that he found intriguing. He would take notes of all the details, the time of death, the cause of death, the weapon used, everything. And then he would go out into the forest and play out these murder scenarios with the animals he would find. As he got older, he started to feel this urge to preserve the life of his victims, so he began to hunt. His first victim was a hitchhiker that he picked up on the side of the road. He invited him back to his house. They had some drinks, they had some fun. And then, of course, Jeffrey did what Jeffrey does. He took his victim out into the forest and shot him in the back of the head. He then proceeded to cut up the body and bury it in a shallow grave. But as time went on, he wanted to keep a part of his victims with him. So he started to skin them to keep their skin as a trophy. He also started to take pictures of the murders, which he would later put in an album. Now, Jeffrey Dahmer was a monster, but he was a monster with a very specific set of morals. He never killed innocent people. All of his victims were either criminals or drug addicts. In fact, he even went to rehab multiple times to get help for his addiction. The police knew something was wrong with Jeffrey, but they couldn't prove it. They had no evidence. All they had were the missing persons reports, which they eventually closed because they assumed Jeffrey had killed them. But they didn't know that he had kept their body parts as trophies. One day, Jeffrey's girlfriend found some of the body parts in his house, and she immediately called the police. When they arrived, they found so much evidence that they arrested him right away. At his trial, Jeffrey pleaded not guilty, but the evidence was overwhelming and he was found guilty. He was sentenced to 15 years in prison, but he only served 3 because he was killed by another inmate. Okay, now it's time for you to tell me what you think. Was Jeffrey Dahmer a monster or a misunderstood man? Let me know in the comments below. And if you want to hear more true crime stories, stay tuned for more content. Also, please like and share this video if you enjoyed it. It really helps out the channel a lot. Thanks for watching. Bye.